All right. Well, I am happy to be here now talking with Eric Hjorleifson. We talked to Nick a while ago now about some of the forefront lineup, but our objective today is to talk to Hoji about this updated Hoji. And so, Eric, good to see you again, and glad we're connecting here.
Thank you for having me, Jonathan. Good to see you as well.
And I'm glad you made it out of the backcountry, since we did miss you on the athlete panel we were shooting, and so we're glad you made it out.
Yeah, I apologize again for that. It's the nature of utilizing snowmobiles. There can always be the possibility for something to break down. But I felt really bad, and I'm happy to be here now.
Well, so let's just get into it. Talk to us about some of the updates on this Hoji ski and what you were kind of looking for primarily.
Obviously, the Hoji has been kind of one of the main attractions to the Forefront brand, as far as I would say one of the more popular models. And it's been a ski that's been in existence for quite some time. So yeah, with everything, there comes time for improvement. So this was an opportunity. We were switching the production facility. So there's the possibility to make changes because new tooling to produce the ski is required. So yeah, I think the main thing was trying to bring the Hoji and update it and bring it closer to the changes that we've made with the Renegade and Raven when they were brought to the Utopia factory in Canada. So primarily the first thing was updating the lengths offered. So I was really happy to be able to revise that and primarily focus on a 184 and a 191. And I think those lengths are a bit more modern and accommodate a wider range of skiers. But the previous 195 was great if you're a pretty large person, but a 191 should be acceptable for a wider range of people. And then yeah, just trying to really nail and perfect, polish, if you will, the rocker profile and try and bring that into the future a little bit more. And this ski actually is the hardest ski, I think, for me personally to work on, because it's one of those kind of daily drivers. You're trying to achieve good performance in a wide variety of snow conditions. And certainly one of my main focuses is I didn't want to compromise the powder skiing performance, as it is still a 112 waisted ski. And over the years, I've just had so many positive experiences with people coming up to me and being like, this ski changed my life. It was, like suddenly I could enjoy powder skiing. And that, I believe a lot of that comes from the fully rockered profile of the ski. And yeah, that's pretty clear, but it's really hard to bridge that, to take that fully rockered profile and try and achieve some kind of quality performance on firm snow. So the majority of our testing throughout the season here has been just really working on different profiles and making small changes. And it's been really fun because working with the Utopia factory, it's been very quick. Like I've had several different versions very quickly throughout in succession to keep trying, keep revising. Yeah, no, I see myself skiing on the Hoji a lot more than in the past because it was kind of like the ski that was just in between, like either as Renegade or Raven, depending on the snow. So I'm happy to have done these updates and really excited about the new Hoji.
So when you were going through different iterations and versions of this updated ski, was there a particular note for you where you were like, it's still this one thing, I want to dial in this one thing? Or was it like you'd get a version of it and think, okay, this feels better now here, but now we've got to like go address this other thing, kind of like whack-a-mole, like trying to like keep getting everything to get in concert together? Or was it more like this specific thing, I just wanted a little more this way in this one area? If that question makes any sense.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit of like we started off with kind of just trying to dial in the flex, and had several versions with the same rocker profile and different flex patterns. And what became very clear, obviously, quickly was that the softest version wasn't going to achieve high speed hard pack performance. It was a bit shaky, and but that version was the funnest in the powder. So it's like back and forth, and then it's like, okay, well, we need to achieve this stiffness, but we need to increase the rocker in the tip and tail to achieve that fun, forgiving sensation in the softer snow. So it's the back and forth is like, I think, yeah, exactly, is kind of flex and rocker profile in a big way. And they essentially kind of are doing similar things, but no, it's a tough one. But I'm happy, like the latest one that I've been skiing on, I'm very happy with, and it's been cool. One thing I do with the ski testing or any gear testing, I do have a kind of circuit of good friends, ski partners, and coincidentally, a lot of them have the same foot size or similar size to me. So I like to kind of get a bunch of different people that I know, and I know how they ski, and I can watch them ski on these different prototypes, and especially when they have previous experience with the previous models, so, or the same model but the earlier version. So it's fun to try and like verify what I'm feeling or thinking through others that are experienced as well. Because one of the hardest things is being like not self-critical, but like sometimes I feel like I'm just the worst because I'm just like, oh yeah, I like it. But you need I personally need help. I need others, and I think that's not a bad way of doing it. Just to verify things.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I personally at least can attest to is I do think that this updated Hoji now does feel a lot more similar in terms of kind of a family resemblance to the Raven and the Renegade. And so I think if that was one of the key objectives, that I think has definitely been achieved with my time on that updated Hoji so far. I am curious to ask you, when you were talking about the softest version of the ski performed best in powder, I'm like, what do you mean by powder here? Are we talking about like meadow skipping, or are we talking about you like mobbing kind of gnarly pillow lines? Like when you say powder, I feel like I need more clarification.
I did some pillow. Yeah, I did it as much as I could, from, that was back in early January. So I did do some aggressive pillow skiing, and I did a lot of just like good good skiing, the that particular pair I'm talking about, like I was skiing on a few different versions on that trip, and working up at Century Lodge, and all of those were the earlier versions, and they were a little too flat. They didn't have quite enough rockers. So the stiffer version, when I was skiing it on Whistler Blackcomb, it was definitely more comfortable, more stable. But then getting it in the powder, it just didn't have that same forgiving feeling or ease. And the slightly softer ones were more playful and maneuverable. They're not like super soft, they're just, I think the math estimate was about 6% plus minus overall flex. So it's not a crazy amount, but like that particular pair, I gave them to a bunch of different folks that were on, it was actually a friend's trip, and my one buddy's wife, she took them in, and she was just like, we skied some, 2-minute, whatever, 800-meter POW run, like a massive avalanche path. The stability was perfect. And she was just like, I thought she like the smile on her face at the bottom was just amazing. She was having so much fun. And that was the softer version. So to achieve that kind of performance in a slightly stiffer one, that's where we tweaked, the rocker profile and created a bit more rise in the tip and tail. But yeah, I tried to test them, because the Hoji ski is, of course, like, it's that kind of daily driver, all the different, maybe it's not a one quiver ski, but it's meant to be very versatile and still maintain the powder performance. So I really did try my best to ski it in as many conditions as possible. And this year was actually the perfect year, because I was in BC the whole time. I wasn't traveling. I was just back and forth between the lodges I was working at and a lot of time here on the coast skiing Whistler Blackcomb. So Whistler Blackcomb is a great testing venue, because you can go right to the top of the mountain, and from the top to the bottom you can ski anything from nice winter powder, wind, redistributed snow, to ice, to slush, to rain, to the worst conditions imaginable at the base. So I did a lot of that, and it was a lot of fun.
Nice. Well, anything else we should say before I let you go here about this updated Hoji? I feel like you've laid out what you were going for. And so I think people should have a pretty decent sense. And you've talked about some of the specific updates. So any parting thoughts on this particular ski?
Well, I think your previous comment there about, kind of bringing it in and aligning the three models, I think that was one of my main goals, and I'm happy to hear you kind of notice that, and I've also been noticing that, and I think that's a really good thing about this kind of update, and it just makes a nice consistent line, and if you're bouncing between one or two or three of them, depending on your quiver or whatever, I think that'll be very beneficial. And like I said, I'm gonna be skiing the Hoji a lot more than the previous version, just because it is very aligned with the Renegade and the Raven.
Yep. And last question, you will be skiing, your days on the Hoji will mostly be on the 184, exclusively on the 184. Talk a little bit about the lengths that you personally are going to be working with the most.
Yeah, I mean, so far I've only been testing the 184, because that's been what we've been developing the update in, and that's consistent with the Raven and Renegade. That's the length of ski I personally find very versatile for my needs. But that being said, yeah, maybe I will, like, I have skied on the Renegade 191 a little bit, and I'd likely try the Hoji 191, like the old 195. That's too much for me. So, but yeah, I'm pretty consistent with the 184. I find that to be, enough length for stability, but still quite maneuverable for the way I ski.
Nice. Well, hey man, it's always good to connect, and always good to have you walk us through the new stuff that you've been working on and tinkering with. And so, as always, appreciate the time.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity, and it's good to catch up.
Yeah, man. Well, we'll talk to you soon.
All right, ciao.